Hello, everybody. Happy Monday to you all. Hi to everyone in the chat box. I saw all your countries popping up. Saudi, Pakistan, Peru. Welcome to you. Hello. So if you're just joining in the chat box here on Zoom, just send your message to all panelists and attendees so then everybody can see your message. Hello in Bangladesh, Singapore as well. I'm here in Melbourne. Anyone else in Australia with me? New Zealand, hello neighbour, pretty close. Okay, I'm originally from Algeria. Beautiful, welcome along. If you're watching on YouTube, hello to you over there. I'll pop in later. So if you want to join the Zoom class, make sure you register next time, e2language.com. It's much easier for me to communicate with you. Hello deep in India and Thailand, Egypt. Oh, it's my favorite country, sorry everybody else. I had a great time when I went to Egypt. Beautiful. So this is our first ever community class. The idea of this class is that I want to help you study this week. I want to show you what's coming up in the E2 classes. I'm going to show you the topics that we'll cover. I'll tell you exactly where to go on the platform in your course, what you should study. I'm going to give you some links to things that you can read and listen to. I'm going to give you a downloadable thing at the end. And also you're going to do some work. So, you know, when you go to the gym or you go to a fitness class, you don't just sit there and listen to the instructor, do you? You get up and you do a bit of work. So that's what I want you to do today as well. We're going to do a little bit of vocab and grammar, but I want you to participate. So don't just watch and listen, make sure that you take part. This is a really good study week. If you're just joining for the first time with E2, with this class and a couple of the writing classes this week, your IELTS score should skyrocket. We've got some really important lessons coming up. So it's a great time to start. If you're a regular, this will be a great week for you as well. All right, during the session, there's a lot of people, but if you have a question, please use the chat box. I will answer whatever I can. If I miss your question or it's not relevant, just save it. At the end, I'll answer as many as I can there as well. Okay, so just in the chat box, let's try one more time. Could you send your message to all panelists and attendees? So not just all panelists, that means only I see it. So I'm going to type hello to everybody and just check that you are doing the same. Thanks, Shivpreet, well done. Yeah. Slow down. Okay, I will slow down. That's it. Thanks, guys. That's better. Okay, let's get started. This is our plan for the community class. We're going to start with dictation. Do you remember dictation from high school? It's actually a really, really useful language learning skill. So I'm going to do 5 sentences for you. You're going to need either a pen and paper or you're going to type in the chat box. We're going to review some vocabulary. We'll do a grammar workshop. I know everyone loves it. And I'll give you homework tasks and live class info. I'm also going to give you a downloadable topic toolkit if you are here on Zoom with me. And the theme is health. So I chose this theme, of course, because of the situation we're in at the moment, but also our live classes this week. The writing task 2 topic of both of them is health too. So it's important to have good health vocabulary. Hello, Aman and Shivpreet. Welcome along. All right. So let's start. We're going to do dictation. Now, I'm going to just read 5 sentences to you. Does everybody know what it is? Dictation. Have you done it before? Probably having terrible high school flashbacks right now, but don't worry, it's all for a purpose. Yeah, actually listen and write, not read and write, Evelyn. Okay, so your aim here, I want you to get 5 out of 5, 5 sentences that are perfect. It's quite difficult, but let's see how we go. I'm going to turn off my camera. Okay, I'm going to close the chat box too, just so that there's no cheating, so you can't see your classmates' work. Okie dokes, everyone ready? Beautiful. Okay, sentence number 1. I'm going to read it twice, by the way. Sentence number 1. The government introduced a new law that prohibits gathering in large numbers. Number 1, the government introduced a new law that prohibits gathering in large numbers. Number 2, people who are suffering acute symptoms should call their doctor. People who are suffering acute symptoms should call their doctor. Great start, you guys. I'm watching the chat box. Just have a go, even if you're not sure. Okay, number 3. The staff who work in the emergency department need masks. The staff who work in the emergency department need masks. Number 4, COVID-19 is a virus which affects the respiratory system. COVID-19 is a virus which affects the respiratory system. Great job. Last one now, number 5. The scientists that we interviewed are working on a treatment. The scientists that we interviewed are working on a treatment. Okay, do you want any of those repeated? Otherwise, we'll check the answers. Let me know. A pretty good job there in the chat box. Well done. Munoz, you were doing well. Thank you, Zach. How are you going? All right, let's check the answers. Here we go. Out of the way. Number 1. So check your spelling, check your word endings. The government introduced a new law that prohibits gathering in large numbers. Number 2, people who are suffering acute symptoms should call their doctor. 3, the staff who work in the emergency department need masks. 4, COVID-19 is a virus which affects the respiratory, this word was a problem, respiratory system. And number 5, the scientists that we interviewed are working on a treatment. How did you go? Did anyone get 5 out of 5? The most difficult thing. Manisha, well done. You are a star. Babita, E2. Yeah, if you put that in small letters, that's fine. Don't worry. Luckily, you don't have to do this in the real tests. This is just an activity. For those of you who have your hand up or putting questions in the Q&A, just use the chat box. That's easier for me. Great. Yeah, Marlon, a lot of people make mistakes with the word scientists. Definitely. Sadia, you're writing on paper. No worries. Okay, so we're going to use these sentences during this session. Okay, and we'll start with a quick quiz. Okay, I'm going to open the chat box for this one so we can have a race. Shivpreet, well done. 5 out of 5. Sorry about that. Okay, quick quiz. We ready? I want you to type your answers into the chat box. Question number 1. From these words, which word means critical or severe? One word. Oh, Nabila. Well done. Anthony, just behind. Critical or severe? You got it. Acute. Acute symptoms. Critical, severe, serious. Okay, here we go. Number 2. Which word means related to breathing? Evelyn, well done. Faye, just behind. Supersonic typers. Respiratory, well done. Number 3, here we go. Which word means bands? Evelyn, you are so fast. You're the winner of all of these. That's it, Charles. Johanny, hello. Nice to see you again. Prohibits, that's it. Number 4. Which word means action to bring about healing? Oh, Rahilat, you won that one. Good job, guys. Down here, treatment to bring about healing. Number 5, last one. Which word means experiencing pain or unpleasant emotions? It's a verb. Evelyn Wong, you are just too quick. Ooh, a few various answers. This is the word I was looking for, suffering. Suffering. So 5 out of 5, anyone? Very nice. Karen, Manisha, Charles, Babita. Oh, going so quickly. Well done. So if you're struggling with that, just in general, if you want to build up your vocab, have a look into your course in general or academic. Click on the vocab section and there are 2 buttons now, general and academic vocab, which is here. This is where you'll find the academic word list, collocations list, the general word list, and the topic toolkits are also here. There are 10 of them in there at the moment, and 10 more coming, I think, tomorrow. So make sure you keep checking back in here. These are really good places to see vocabulary by theme. So if you've already got a couple of toolkits, they have writing topics, there's a big list of vocab, there's a sample essay, and there's a resource section where you can click on links to read something, listen to something, watch something. So today I'm going to share the health topic toolkit with you in the chat box, but the other ones, 10 other ones are up at the moment there. Oh, and by the way, those who were asking yesterday, we do have a code. If you want to upgrade or change your subscription, you can get $15 off with the code BETTERTOGETHER15. So if you're thinking of joining E2, of course you should, or you want to get a higher subscription for more feedback or tutorials, make sure that you type BETTERTOGETHER15. Miguel, yeah, it includes the Express Plus package. So that is the mock test plus Express, $59, 15 off that. And gold, silver, bronze packages also include the mock tests. So it's off the packages, Miguel. Just take a screenshot of that. Until when? Good question. I have no idea. Usually it's a few days, so, but I'm not sure. All right, this is my favorite GIF, and this is to introduce grammar. If you're a 90s child like me, you'll appreciate this. Look at these 5 sentences from before. Sorry, Shivpreet, you have a question for me? While you're typing, everybody else, have a look at these 5 sentences and tell me, what do they have in common? Yes, maybe COVID-19. I'm thinking of something grammar here. Shivpreet, let's talk about that at the end, perhaps. You can see your question. Okay, Charles says all of them are complex sentences. That's a good guess. Why are they complex sentences? What makes them complex? You're right. Ranak, yes. Very good. They have subordinate clauses. Ranak said the words who and that. Yes, Aliyah as well. So all of these sentences have relative clauses and they're in red. A new law that prohibits gathering in large numbers. People who are suffering acute symptoms. Staff who work in the emergency department. A virus which affects the respiratory system. The scientists that we interviewed, these are relative clauses. What is the function of them? Why are they here? Beautiful. Irene, well done. To explain more clearly. Yeah, you're right. And Anthony, very good. To give more detail. That's exactly right. So they give us more information about usually a thing or a person. So you could split this into 2 sentences, but that's a bit basic. We want to have 1 sentence with extra information. It's very, very important in academic writing. And when you're reading, you'll see these all the time. So government introduced a new law. Well, what law? Tell me more. What sort of law? A law that prohibits gathering in large numbers. Can you remember the ending? The government introduced a new law. Good question, Irene. How can we distinguish that, who, which? I'll tell you now. So a new law that prohibits gathering in large numbers. What about this one? People should call their doctor. Which people? This is where I need the relative clause. People should call their doctor, not all people, just certain people, specific people. People who are suffering acute symptoms. Well done, Karen. And what about this? The staff need masks. Well, not all staff. Which staff? Yeah, good job. The staff who work in the emergency department. So that's how relative clauses work. That's their job. Let's have a look more specifically at the grammar. Can you see the relative pronouns? One of them is that. What are the other ones here? Yeah, who, which. Yeah, just the relative pronouns. That's right. So that, who, which, and that. Okay, and someone, I think Irene just asked me what's the difference, that and who and which. Let's have a look. So the first sentence says a new law. So is a law a thing or is a law a person? Trick question. Simple question. Yeah, it's a thing. So when we're describing a thing, a relative clause with a thing, we can use that or another word. Which word? Yeah. Which? So you could say that the government introduced a new law that prohibits. The government introduced a new law which prohibits. Both fine. Both good. Okay, but for people who are suffering, we can use who or people are suffering. Yeah, that's right. That. People that are suffering. A few of you wrote those. You could replace both of these things, like remove them and put those. That's fine. Otherwise, people who or people that. Varisha, how come? I don't know. It's just the rule. Who or that for people. And Sanjay, yes, I'll get to commas in a moment. Okay, so for 3, 4, and 5, you tell me which other pronouns could we use? Instead of who, instead of which, instead of that. Yeah, so number 3. Very good. The staff who and the staff that. Very good. What about 4? And number 5, the scientists, people. Yeah. Okay, so here we go. The staff who and the staff that work. It's a virus which, it's a virus that. The scientists who and the scientists that we interviewed, all of those are okay. Sorry, I saw a few questions flying past there. Is anybody, by the way, please feel free to answer each other's questions. Sometimes the chat box goes so quickly, I miss the question. Irene, yeah, you can use that for objects and also that for people. Like, she's the woman that sold me the car. No, not only for objects, you can use that for people. Y5 is not whom, the scientists whom we interviewed. It could be, but for today's lesson, I'm not dealing with whom or where. I'm just dealing with who, that, and which. So number 5, it's fine, who and that. And yes, you can use that for people and that for things. Okay, your turn. Can you join this sentence together using a relative clause? Now, just who, that, and which, 2 sentences. People exercise regularly. They should have, they usually have stronger immune systems. Can you join it together? Very nice. Yep, very good. So this is just an example. People who exercise regularly usually have stronger immune systems. We don't need any commas in here, because if I remove this, if I just said people usually have stronger immune systems, doesn't make sense. This is really important information. People who exercise regularly. Could also say people that exercise regularly. That's fine. All right, over to you. I'll give you 4 sentences here. I want you to make 4 sentences. Join each one using a relative clause. By the way, I can see your questions coming through. I don't want to pause and answer everything. I'm sorry about that. But if you stay till the end, I will try to come back and answer them. Okay, so 2.5 minutes. Have a go. Can you join these sentences using who, which, or that? Go for it. Lovely work. All right. Thank you, everyone in the chat box. Good job. Now, there are a few possible options. I'm going to show you some of them. So first one, here's a possible answer. Children who eat junk food are more likely to become obese in adulthood, or children that eat junk food, both okay. Number 2, the nurse who helped us, or the nurse that helped us, was extremely kind. Number 3, he works for a company that, or a company which is manufacturing a new vaccine. And number 4, have you seen the doctor who, the doctor that, and some of you have the doctor to whom, that's also okay, that I was talking to before. Yeah, you can say, have you seen the doctor to whom I was talking before? That's okay as well. I'm just not really covering whom today. Give yourself a score. Well done. 4s and 5s, great job. Remember, these are just possible answers. Your ones might be okay. And yes, if you're using whom, it'd be better to say the doctor to whom. That would be fine. Okay, let's look at these red sentences. Now, in one of these sentences, we could take out the relative pronoun, who, which, or that. Which one? Good one, Miguel. Most of you got it down here. We can remove this one. Have you seen the doctor I was talking to before? So this one, we can remove it. We don't need the relative pronoun. The other ones, we have to have it in there. Why? Why is it okay to remove it here, not in other places? Zach? No, not which. No, it's not because it's a question. It's not because of the verb tense. Let me try to explain it. It's a little bit tough to explain. Okay, but let's start with number 2 here. So here the nurse who helped us was extremely kind. We have to have this relative pronoun here. That's because these are the 2 sentences. The nurse helped us. She was kind. So here the who and the that relates to she, which is the subject. So the nurse helped us. She was kind. In these sort of sentences, we have to keep who and that. The nurse who helped us. This is the object here, us. Okay, but down here, have you seen the doctor? I was talking to the doctor before. So in this case, who or that is not the subject. Who or that is the object. I was talking to her before. I'm the subject. So have you seen the doctor that I was talking to before? I was talking to her before. Is that confusing? I'm going to show you a simpler way to remember it, but that's the grammar reason why. But a simpler, an easier way, I think, to remember it, which is usually effective. After who and that, so here between who and that and the verb, there's no noun or pronoun. So no I, no she, no John in here. The nurse who helped us was extremely kind. No noun in between the pronoun and the verb. In that case, keep the relative pronoun. Okay, but here, when there's another noun, I or you or John or the cat, in this case, we can remove it. The doctor I was talking to before. Is that easier? Let me see. I'm sure you guys have got better ways to explain it. So let me just give you a quick verbal example, then we'll do one on the screen. Okay, so this is the phone. Oops. This is the phone that I bought last year. This is the phone that I bought last year. Could I remove that? This is the phone that I bought. So I bought it. Yeah, you can take it out in that situation. What's another example? This is the computer that does not work. This is the computer that does not work. Could I remove it? No. Very good. Easy. Oh, sorry. Okay, let's have a try now. On the screen, can you remove the relative pronouns from these sentences? Just write yes or no. So number 1, yes, or number 1, no. I'll give you a minute to read it. And write the number 2. Let's see. First one, yes, it's fine. The therapist she was seeing retired last month. Number two, the nurse first gave the medication to those patients who were in the most pain. We cannot remove it. Although many smokers oppose the new law, we can remove this. The new law which the government introduced, this is a noun, they obeyed it. And healthy eating habits parents teach their children can last a lifetime. This one is also good. Perfect scores, well done. Pretty good, okay. Now, the good news is if you can't remember the rule, just keep the relative pronoun, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if it's in or out, it's just something to know. Okay, so all of these are defining relative clauses. Defining relative clauses, basically this means that the information is essential. So there's no commas here. The therapist she was seeing retired last month. This is important information to define the therapist. Which therapist are we talking about? Okay, but what about non-defining relative clauses? So non-defining relative clause is when we add information and it's not essential information. It's just extra. Okay, this is where the commas are going to come into it. So here's a hospital. The GSB hospital has 250 beds. It was renovated in 1999. So in this case, let's imagine this is not important information, just extra, not essential. So we can put it in the same place. The GSB hospital, which was renovated in 1999, has 250 beds. So notice here commas. We use these commas to show that the information is not essential. It's just extra. So I know which hospital this is. This information does not define the hospital. I already know the GSB hospital. This is just extra information. And another thing to know with non-defining relative clauses, don't use that. So when you've got commas like this, only use which, and if it's a person, only use who. Don't use that. Okay, your turn. Good question, Damia. How do you know? It depends on context a little bit. So for these ones, just presume that you've got a piece of non-essential information. First one here, the decision was made at 8 p.m. yesterday. The decision was not popular with the general public. So in this case, let's say that this, which one? Let's say that this sentence, this part is not essential. So can you write me the sentence with a non-defining clause? Thank you, Mia. Well done. And Charles, that's good. Good, Sadia, that's right, but you've made a defining relative clause because you've got no commas. Grammatically, it's okay. Good, Jaspreet. Good, Sanjay, that's it. So the decision, which was not popular with the general public, was made at 8 p.m. yesterday. So the decision was made at 8 p.m. yesterday. This is just extra information in here. And yes, you need commas here. Marlon, do you mean what's the function of a non-defining relative clause? Okay, so I think the question was what's the difference here? So sometimes you're giving information which is essential to know what you're talking about. Like this is the pen, but you don't know which pen. So this is the pen which my friend gave me yesterday, or this is the pen that my friend gave me yesterday. Okay, I know this particular pen. That information is essential in that sentence. But in another situation, you may just want to add extra information. for whatever reason. And for those saying, how do I know it's essential or not? It's sort of up to you, or it's up to the writer. You decide if it's essential or not. So the pen, comma, which was given to me by my friend, comma, doesn't really work anymore. So in that sentence, it was given to me by my friend. I'm saying that's not essential information. It's just extra. So I put commas around it and I use the word which, not the word that. Does that help? So in this particular case, these commas here, and there are a lot of rules for commas. I'm not saying this is the rule for all commas, but non-defining relative clauses in the middle of a sentence are surrounded by commas. Yes. So I guess, Charles, you've got to make the decision. Is the information essential to understanding what you're talking about? So if you mention the name of a hospital, for example, then I know what hospital you're talking about. But if you are telling me a story and you don't mention, or you don't know the hospital name, then maybe you'll use a defining relative clause, like the hospital which is down the street caught on fire. So that's a defining relative clause. The hospital, which hospital? I don't know what you're talking about. The hospital which is down the street. Okay. Let's have another go. All right, here we go. My sister had to take 2 weeks off with the flu. And this is my extra information. She had never taken a sick day before. Can you make a sentence for me? Mosna, well done. Good job. And you're going to stick the extra information here, surround it with commas. Good. Don't forget the commas. This is just extra information. We know who your sister is. This is not defining. It's just extra. That's it, guys. Well done. Good. My sister, comma, who had never taken a sick day before, comma, had to take 2 weeks off with the flu. So my sister had to take 2 weeks off with the flu. That's the main sentence. That's the important thing. This is just extra, bonus information. Can you write in the chat box for me a sentence about your brother or your sister or your best friend in a similar way? My friend who finish the sentence. Use your imagination, but with a non-defining relative clause. I'll do one as well. Okay, fantastic. I'll read a couple of these out. Let's see. So Stephanie wrote, my friend, comma, who doesn't like sushi, comma, ate 2 pieces yesterday. Marlon, my sister, comma, who has been in a relationship for a decade, comma, needed to postpone their wedding this year. Correct. Oh, that's bad. Karen, my friend, comma, who already has 2 phones, comma, bought a new one recently. Great work. Good. So Neha, you would take the first comma out there. My brother ate all the food of mine, comma, which I don't like at all. Very good, Pachu. Good, Sanjay. So I think you'd make that non-defining. My brother, comma, who is a doctor, comma, is working in this hospital. That's it. Okay, final one. Now this one's a little bit different. Let's have a look. The elderly woman had to wait 16 hours in the hospital waiting room. This is unacceptable. Okay, so here a little bit different. We're using a comma. We're going to use a comma and which to refer to the entire sentence, the whole situation, not just the person or the thing. So in this case, I don't want to talk about the hospital waiting room. I want to make a comment about this whole situation. The woman had to wait a long time. This is unacceptable. I want to put this together and I can do it like this with a comma, which is unacceptable. The elderly woman had to wait 16 hours in the hospital waiting room, comma, which is unacceptable. So the fact that she had to wait in a waiting room is unacceptable. That's another type of relative clause, non-defining. Very useful, very common in academic writing too. So now, Ros, this part, unacceptable, it modifies the whole sentence, the whole thing here. It's like saying, somebody stole my car, comma, which was devastating. So in that sentence, I'm not talking about my car, I'm talking about the situation. Somebody stole my car, comma, which was devastating for me. Sanjay, no, in this one, because we've got a comma, we can't use that. If you have that here, you need a full stop and a new sentence. So like here, you could say that is unacceptable or this is unacceptable, capital T, fresh sentence. But here you cannot say that. You have to say which. Therese, that is okay, but you'd take the comma off there. And Neha, yes, you can also do that, but not after a comma. So after a comma, which. And Manisha, I still need a comma after hours there, because it's not the hours which is unacceptable, it's the situation which is unacceptable. And Zach, take off the comma there. You guys are always so creative. Yeah, Bhupesh, it is unacceptable that. All right, let's keep going. I'll give you a little more chance. Which sentences are wrong? 5 sentences. If you see a wrong sentence, can you correct it? If it's correct, just write tick or yes or no problem. All right, 3 minutes for this. Time is just about up. Let's have a look. Here are the answers, guys. Okay, so the first one had a mistake. The nurses that work in this hospital are highly trained. So take off this pronoun. Number 2, it's correct. Cases are still increasing, comma, which is alarming. So this is talking about the whole sentence. Number 3, public health initiatives, which are essential for a healthy population, non-defining relative clause, are desperately in need of funding. Varisha, in need of funds, that's fine if you have an S here. Yep, also okay. 4, we needed to make commas here. So Jessica, extra information, who lives next door to me, is still overseas. Jessica is still overseas. And 5, the vaccine he's been working on is due to be released in 6 months, comma, which is great news. Number 5, why which? Because this is a non-defining clause. It's talking about this whole situation here. After the comma, we use which. Don't use that after a comma in a non-defining relative clause. Which is, are great news? No, no. Scores, please. That is our final thing. How did we go? 4, 5, 3. All right. Pretty good. You're feeling a bit more confident, I hope. When you go away from class now and you read something, I'm sure that you're going to see relative clauses everywhere you go. You'd be surprised how common they are. And this was not all of the rules about relative clauses, but hopefully the important ones. There is more to learn. But yeah, these are some common errors that I see. So hopefully that's helped you out a little bit. Why don't we put a comma before that? Baha, do you mean just in general? If it's a non-defining relative clause, it's just the rule. I don't know why. We just don't. So down here, that is great news. We just don't do it. It's an error. But a good question. I've got no idea. Okay, I'm going to give you some homework tasks. Now, for those of you here on Zoom, I'm going to help you out by pasting the links, hopefully, into the chat box for you. So this is what I want you to work on for the next few days. So 1, I want you to read an article about public health. This is to get ready for Tuesday and Thursday's writing task 2 classes. So it's in the conversation. The headline is want to improve health, start by reducing inequalities. Okay, I'm going to paste that work. So into the chat box, I've put the link for that article. I've also put the link for this video. This is the other bit of homework. By the way, there are 5 bits of homework. This is number 2. I want you to watch this video on complex sentences. I posted the link in the chat box. If you're watching on YouTube, just take a screenshot. So just look on YouTube, E2 IELTS complex sentences. This will be, with complex sentences and relative clauses, you will be safe from scoring band 4, 5, 6 in grammar. They're very, very important for your writing score. Number 3, for those of you here on Zoom, my E2 crew, in your E2 course, I want you to go to, for general, go to writing task 1 and click on informal letters. I want you to watch the method video and maybe do a couple of practice activities. This will help you for tomorrow and Wednesday's class, all about informal casual letters. Academic people, this week you're working on maps. So go to the course, go to writing task 1, click on maps, and same thing, look at the video, do a couple of activities to get ready for class tomorrow. Number 4, submit a writing task for assessment. So this is for those of you who have the writing package with E2, gold, silver, bronze. I want you to do some writing this week. So in your course, watch a video, like click on the feedback section of your package and you'll see task 1s and task 2s. You can have a look. For instance, if you're general, go to task 1, have a look at the type of question it is. You can see it's either formal, semi-formal or casual. If you're not confident, go and watch a method video about that or look at a sample and then write it and submit it so that you'll start to get your feedback during this week. Number 5, homework, easy one, is to attend at least one live class per day or watch the recording. So on your dashboard menu on the left, click on live classes to register. If you're a paid member, you have access to the recordings. Click on recorded classes to review something that you missed over last week or the week before. The last 2 weeks are held in there. And a final little present for you is the health toolkit. So I'm going to just share the link here on Zoom. Just a moment. Has anyone used the topic toolkit before? No? Oh, you're missing out. It's so good. Okay, just check that link for me. So this is in the vocab section of your course. The topic toolkits are obviously arranged by topic. There's animals, art, food and farming. This one is not on the platform yet, so you are the first ones to get it. And it has a resource section where you can click through to read, listen, watch things all about the topic. So obviously this week's topic is health. The topic toolkit will help you. Article link. Oh, Zach, thank you. Oh, it's not working. Can you guys test those links for me? Just the first one? You're welcome. Okay, and if somebody has the other link, the articles, just paste them in the chat box for me. Okay, seems all right. Let me just flick forward. Here's another thing for you to take a picture of. Actually, I'll put, this is what's coming up this week. So we are here in the community class. We've got all of this to look forward to this week. Later today, we've got the task 1. Academic, you're working on maps, passive voice, general, casual letters, and focusing on how to get a casual tone. This is all the rest of the week. I won't go through it, but please take a picture so that you can have a look and plan your studies. Ronak, the other toolkits are in the vocab section in your course. And here's the code again, just in case. So remember to use Better to get a 15 if you want to upgrade, or join for the first time as well. $15 US off. So this means very, very cheap feedback as well. So for the writing course, it's already $69 US, which is super cheap. You get 6 pieces of writing assessed, plus access to all our classes. Absolute bargain with $15 off. So be quick on that one. All right, I'm going to pause. Thank you for watching on YouTube. I'm going to stop our stream and chat with my friends here on Zoom. So all you guys on Zoom, if you've got questions, please let me know. YouTubers, come and join us next time, e2language.com. Writing classes are happening in a few hours. We'll see you there.